Dodge this.
So apparently there's an epidemic of fake news, at least according to the government and mainstream media. Of course, that's the same government and mainstream media who have been outed, exposed, and proven to be liars by the very same people that they're now calling fake news websites. Just saying. The dramatic pause was for you to ponder what I said. I mean, really, fake news. Oh, you guys are fake news. People are going to say, well, you know, sites like The Onion and others. No, it's not The Onion's fault or any other parody site. Yes, there are parody sites or sites that put out completely, they'll say it's satirical or a parody of a real news story. And could some of those be funded by the powers that shouldn't be, you know, through the back door to create confusion and muddy the waters? Yeah, of course they could. Not all of them are like that, though. And it's really not the fault of those websites. Even if all of those websites, and I'm not saying like the alternative media right now, we'll get to that in a minute. I'm talking about these parody or satirical websites. Even if they really were funded by bad people trying to do bad things, trying to brainwash you, trying to create disinformation, trying to, you know, muddy the waters, so to speak, whatever. Even if that's the case, whose fault really is it that that stuff gets pushed by the everyday average person? Whose fault really is it? Is it Facebook's fault? Is it the people that put it out's fault? Well, of course it is Popeye. They put it out, but they didn't spread it. I've seen plenty of articles put out by other people that never got any traction. So, yeah, to a degree, the media, Facebook, they won't block those stories. They'll like, they went through our filters. Whoops, sure. But really, whose fault is it? It's the fault of everybody who shares those posts without even actually reading the article and then doing any research to see if the article is actually valid or not. Just because someone wrote an article doesn't mean that everything they wrote in that article is accurate or valid. You have to do your research for yourself. I tell you when you listen to my radio show and I have guests on, how many times have I told you all, do not believe me just because I'm saying it. Verify what I'm saying by doing your own research. That's how you learn. You know, like the old adage, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? Well, put yourself in the place of the horse instead of a river or a lake for the horse to drink out of. Think about knowledge and truth. I can present you to the truth. I can present the truth to you, rather. I can bring you to it. I can lead you to the river of truth, so to speak, but I can't force you to drink from it and understand it. You have to do that yourself via research. Clickbait articles are exactly what the name implies. And when you see, you know, something that's outlandish, don't just share it because that's what the title says and oh my god, it agrees with your personal opinion on something. That's done on purpose. That's completely done on purpose. It's clickbait. Don't just do that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who puts that out there. If you do it, if you perpetrate it, if you share it, and it's a parody or a satire, and you don't take the time to verify whether the story is true or not, you just go with it because it fits your narrative, or because you believe that it's the truth, or it's possible, it doesn't mean it's not truthful. Just because you believe something to be possible, by the way, doesn't make it inaccurate. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just because you believe it to be, you shouldn't believe it to be true because it's possible. There's a lot of stuff that's possible that isn't factual, right? possibilities are, the expression says possibilities are endless, and we could sit talk about that until the cows come home. The point is, at the end of the day, it's anyone's fault who's ever been bit by it. I've been bit by it once or twice while doing this. You know what? I owned up to it. I read an article on air about something, and I thought it was real. And one of the listeners, this was years ago, brought it to my attention in the chat room of the radio network I was on, that it was a satire article. So during the break, I went back and I checked it out, and they were right. And I came back on air, and I addressed it and said I was wrong, and I apologize, and sometimes we make mistakes, and whatever, we're human, moving on. And that was it. And I owned up to my mistake. And I actually gained a lot of listeners who heard that, because they told me, I was messaged, emailed, IM, comments, all said the same thing, because I was willing to own up to a simple mistake and do so publicly. They felt they could trust me. Of course, they do feel that way, because, hey, I tell you, I think you can trust me, but still, verify, right? My record is what builds the trust in me. My accuracy and me not being a scumbag over the years. So, you can trust me, yes, but I still urge you to verify. But you feel you can trust me, or people feel they can trust me more when they go through an experience like that. And it's like that with anyone. If you make a mistake and you own up to it, you have more credibility, because you said, hey, look, I messed up. Oops. It happens. Everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. So the fact that you're able to own up to it shows a lot about your character. Now, I point that out because when you look at the mainstream media, they haven't been able to own up ever that they screwed up. And they've gone so off the friggin' beaten path with their excuses to cover their ass and why Hillary Clinton didn't make it in to be the president. I could probably get into a conspiratorial angle as to why she didn't, but if you buy that everybody voted her out and everything, right? Well, you people were wrong, meaning the mainstream media and the political establishment. You were wrong. You were wrong, and you got shown you were wrong. Now, I told you, I think there's way more to it than that, but for argument's sake of this video, the mainstream media is responding by attacking the alternative media, and so is the political establishment. So you have to wonder why. Is it really fake news? No, it's not fake news. It's not fake news at all. They're attacking it, going balls to the wall hardcore on it, because the alternative media is destroying the mainstream, some call it the legacy media. They're being absolutely destroyed. Oh, and so is the political establishment. What did Brzezinski say a couple of years ago at a CFR meeting? For the first time in history, mankind is politically awakened. That scares the shit out of them. That mankind is starting to wake up to the inequalities. Quote, Brzezinski. Yes, I have to use the troll scumbag voice when I do Brzezinski. So, God, he's such an evil piece of shit. He really is. That's why he looks the way he does. If you look up, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google or whatever, Zbigniew Brzezinski, and look at like some of the most recent photos of him. His inner evil is just oozing out. Because you can't hide total evil forever. Eventually that shit oozes out of your pores and it eats you up from the inside out. Look at Henry Kissinger. Except he's the opposite. Henry Kissinger literally looks like an Oompa Loompa from Willy Wonka. And that's not, oh, you're attacking him because of his body weight. No, he's round with like little stumpy feet and arms in his little New World Order head. We will have a New World Order. No, you won't. You won't. There will be a New World Order because everything is evolving, and eventually, yes, mankind will stop fighting amongst itself over whose piece of, the earth, what patch of sand is better, or whose version of the same thing in the sky created us, right? Everybody will stop fighting over that. And we'll eventually grow up and get out of kindergarten. And we will have a new way of doing things, and we'll all get along. And I mean, a natural progression of things is maybe perhaps a one world type system where everybody gets along, yes. But it doesn't have to be this tyrannical version. You know, I mean, we can explore outer space and the oceans and shit without, you know, being total tyrants. I mean, I think we can all get along and not invade one another, right? So yeah, there will be a new way of doing things as mankind evolves, because that's how it works. You know, we don't live in caves, build big campfires every night. We have houses. I mean, sometimes you go camping and stuff, but you get my drift, right? We don't fight fires with leather buckets anymore. We actually use big fire trucks with 750 gallons or 1,000 gallons in it, you know, in the water tank, and pump into a hydrant system, right? You don't have guys pumping, which nothing more than like a water, well, the old school water pumps were like big bellows, basically. Do we have that anymore? Do you have like 6 guys hanging on each side of the truck, pumping it to create pressure to push the water through the hose? No, the truck does that. Oh, because technology evolved. Or advanced. Whatever word you would like to use, because people are going to go, Popeye, Darwin. I know. I'm just using the word to try to reach everybody and make it very simple. So you can use whatever you want. Substitute, you know, that word for take evolve out and put advancement, whatever you want to do. The point is, I really believe that there will be a new way of doing things, because of course that's just the evolution of mankind. But it doesn't need to be some tyrannical system that tells you what to do and how to live and how much air you're allowed to breathe. All of that stuff is about total control. That's all that is. It's not about money. These people that are in power, very, very top, have all the money that they could possibly want. Their lackeys, of course, do things for money because they don't see the bigger picture. They don't really understand things. And that's why they're looked at and called dogs, not kidding, by the establishment, because they're willing to do things just for money and for what they feel to be a place of power, but it's really not, because real power isn't about money. It's not about money at all. How did Frank say it? If you ever watch House of Cards, Frank Underwood, Kevin Spacey's character, he talks about power and he says,
money is the McMansion in Sarasota that starts falling apart after 10 years. Power is the old stone building that stands for centuries. I cannot respect someone who doesn't see the difference.
By the way, that show is like literally watching a documentary about how politics works. So there's a difference between money and real power. And these people understand that. The people that control things understand that. I mean, they have all the money they could possibly want. What did Nicholas Rockefeller tell Alan Russo? It's not about money, it's about power, it's about control. They want to control things, they're control freaks. They want to control everybody and everything. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So, fake news is bullshit. It's just another label. Okay, if anybody has gotten caught faking news, it's CNN, MSNBC, Fox, NBC, PBS, CBS, ABC. I mean, ABC is owned by Disney. You have the balls to be talking about fake news, ABC. Really? Really? Brian Williams comes on TV. The business of fake news. Fuck you, Brian Williams. No, this video's not family friendly. But I'm sure your children are old enough to hear the truth, and I'll try to refrain from using the F word as much as I possibly can, but fuck you, Brian Williams. You self-righteous prick. Are you fucking kidding me? The business of fake news. Hey, Brian. Look, lying, Brian. Pack your shit. Beat it. You have no moral high ground to stand on whatsoever. None. Absolutely zero moral high ground. So, yeah. There's that. I mean, that's how desperate they are. And that goes to show you the power of the alternative media. And your power, ladies and gentlemen, who are out there that pay attention to the alternative media. Just the choice of going to a different spot, just that choice alone, that action changed things. And look what you did. Just that action alone. Look how powerful you are in that action alone. That you were able to piss off the mainstream media and the establishment to the point that now they're trying to convince you that the stories that you read are all fake. And then, of course, the Russians did it. Because the Russians, right? Oh, I stubbed my toe. Friggin' Russians. My coffee cup is almost empty. There's only a little bit left for me to drink. I'm going to have to stop. Russians. My car, quarter tank of gas. I'm going to have to stop and get gas, too, somewhere along this trip. Effing Russians. Towing a U-Haul trailer with my car. Russians. They just did it. They called U-Haul and said attach the friggin' trailer to his car. I don't know how to get rid of it. Because the Russians. Down in Brazil. Oh, the Russians hacked my email. Really? Did they convince you to give the Clinton campaign the debate questions as well? How'd they pull that one off, Donna? They hack you? CNN's bullshit stances. You have MSNBC is left, right over here. The opposite spectrum is Fox, and then CNN is in the middle. Sure you are, CNN. Sure you are, because your election coverage completely showed how in the middle you are. Anyway, I know this rant is going kind of long, but I needed to go off. So, the fake news is actually who pretends to be the real news. And now they've gotten caught lying to you, and they're coming to you and telling you, no, the person who showed that we were liars, they're really liars. And they're working with somebody else to try to sabotage this. Okay, let's put this in perspective for you. Think about this. Let's put the media and the government. Let's look at our relationship with them like you would a relationship with another human being, right? So let's look. The government is your spouse. And I've said this before, we're in an abusive relationship with this spouse, right? Constantly puts you down, tells you what's wrong with you, smacks you around, but then tells you it's for your own good and that they love you, right? And man, woman, doesn't matter. Both sexes abuse one another. It's more of a human trait or a human mental thing. Anyway, so the government is this abusive spouse. And this abusive spouse, like I said, is slapping us around, hitting us, putting us down, telling us what's wrong with us constantly, and then saying it does so because it loves us, right? So then we have a friend, that's the media, a friend who comes to you, pretends to be your aide, pretends to talk to you, pretends to expose things. Oh, your husband, you deserve better. He's, we'll just, I'm going to break it down. I'm not trying to assign a sex to anything. It's just easier if I do this. So let's say the government is like cheating. We don't even do that. We'll just say it's a spouse, right? That way people get turned off if I do it the other way. So, your friend, right? Your spouse is, you think your spouse is just the absolute worst at this point, but you don't know what to do. You're upset, you want to get away, so you talk to your friend. Your friend says, oh, your spouse, husband, wife, whatever, oh, that person's so horrible, look what they do to you, blah, 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 blah. Look, this is how they treat you, don't you see? And they kind of expose a little bit of truth, right? You start thinking, that person's right. Meanwhile, you start to have this underlying suspicion that your spouse is cheating on you. You're not really sure, but you have this feeling that the spouse is cheating on you, right? So you start talking to your friend about it, and your friend's telling you, no, that your spouse would never do that. He might be an idiot, he might be, moody, he might be an asshole at times to you, but he would never cheat on you. Or she would never cheat on you. She loves you, he loves you. Right? So you're contemplating this, and you're like, maybe it's just me. Something's wrong with me. I must not be thinking straight. But the more you think about it, the more you're like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. Something's not right. So you ponder whether or not your friend could be involved somehow. You do a little research, and lo and behold, you find out that your spouse is having sex with the friend who's been telling you that everything's okay, and they might be a jerk, but they would never cheat on you. They would never do that. You find out that they're having an affair with this person. That's the mainstream media and the government and how they treat us. Because after you find that the mainstream media, your friend, is having an affair with your spouse, the government, what happens? You confront them. You get angry and emotional. You confront them, and they start to point fingers. Usually not at each other either. Sometimes they might. Sometimes the friend might turn on the spouse, right? Oh, it's her fault, his fault. But the fingers will really be pointed at you. Well, it's your fault because, whatever. And if you got your information, say some outside third party comes to you that but they're not involved in your relationship or this friendship, and they see what's going on and they point it out. That would be the alternative media. Now this other person that just gives it to you straight like it is, it tells you what's going on, you bring them up when you're yelling at the mainstream media, when you're yelling at the government. You bring them up because they say, where do you get such crazy ideas? You say, well, so-and-so, the alternative media told me. And they turn around and they attack the alternative media. And they say, well, it's fake, it's bullshit, they're lying to you. I'm the real media, I would never lie to you, I'm your friend. The government says, I love you. You could have caught them in bed together. And they will lie to you. Which you did. You did catch them in bed together. People saw what was going on with the election. That exposed it. And it just started to peel the covers back just enough, but then it gets slapped back on it. And people go back to bed because, hey, my guy got into office, so I feel better about myself, right? Because that's not exactly what the Obama supporters did when Obama got in office. And did anything change when he got in? No. Well, it certainly changed, but not in the direction I think people thought it was going to change. So, anyway, there you have it. My thoughts while I'm driving. We're in an abusive relationship, and the abuser, who's just absolutely, totally slapping us around, beating us, yelling at us, restricting our basic human privileges and rights. Not privileges, I should rephrase that. Our basic human rights, acting as if they're privileges. And our friend is having an affair with this person. This spouse, this abusive spouse. All the while telling us that the spouse is kind of a bad guy, but not as bad as we think, and they would never ever cheat on us. And then somebody else we know that we trust, that's an outsider, that's not connected politically, emotionally, financially, or anything to either one of these two, says, from an outsider's perspective, they're both screwing around on you, they're both as guilty as each other being involved in this, and you should be rid of both of them. And eventually, if the person has any self-respect, and they can get out of that, and I say if they have any self-respect, not being a condescending prick, because your self-respect in many of those situations literally get sucked out of you by that energy vampire, the government, the abusive spouse. So once you're able to get just a shred of self-respect, you're like, fuck this. This is bullshit. I don't need this. I'm better than this. I deserve better than this. And you end the relationship. Any questions? I think you all get the drift. So with that, I will end this near 30-minute rant. Thank you for listening to me go off while I drive. Like I said, these aren't scripted. These are thoughts that pop into my head while I'm on the road. That's why I call them rants from the road. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow me, YouTube, DTRH Radio Archives, Delta Tango Romeo Hotel Radio Archives. Federaljack.com is my website where I have tons of articles, audio, video, ebooks. We have a huge download section you really need to go check out. I have to do like a screen capture video about it again for the newer people that don't know about it. It's massive. Just go to federaljack.com, go to downloads, and then each picture there, if you click on that, it'll open up a subsequent page, which is a directory listing, just like Popeye Radio is of all my radio shows. Well, there's stuff for like Mind Control, 9/11, there's ebooks, tons of stuff to download for free, videos, audio, and ebooks. All for free, because knowledge is power, and I want to give that power to everyone and help level the playing field. Because that's what my goal is. My agenda is not about making money or being famous or anything. It's about leveling the playing field and helping humanity level up. And that's what we're doing. Like I said, you can check out all the audio archives, PopeyeRadio.com. Download them. It's free. You can either click the hyperlink and it'll play it, or you can right-click and save as, which is what I really want you to do. Download the audio and save it. Listen in your car, MP3 player, whatever. Enlighten yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Always do the research. Never just believe something because I tell you or anybody tells you. Do the research yourself. Trust, but verify. As I always tell you, the solutions to our problems are an inside job, and I wholeheartedly believe that all of you out there are the solutions to humanity's problems. So go be the superheroes I know you all are. I love you all. Catch you again soon.